What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Salt Shack Podcast. My name's Bryce, aka Brewster DeBlanca, and I'm here with.
Caleb or War Monkey 75.
And today is our part two of our Pixar ranking. So, um, we recorded on the 21st. So, about 15 days ago ish, we recorded our part one of our Pixar ranking, and we ranked all the Pixar movies in order without seeing them beforehand. Like, obviously we watched most of them beforehand, but like not directly before the video. Ranked them on how we felt about them at the time, and then over the past 15 days we've watched all 26 Pixar movies in order and then ranked them real time after watching the movie. And then now we're here, part two.
Yep.
It's gonna be like exactly like the last video. We're gonna combine our rankings, see what movies rank the best between us, and obviously we'll talk about our previous lists, how they rank beforehand, how they rank in our individual list, and we also gave them a ranking out of 10, so we'll talk about that too. So yeah, I don't know if you have anything to say before
No,
we start.
let's
Okay.
just get into this. I'm excited to see your takes.
Yeah.
I mean, you've seen mine.
Yeah, so I already know Caleb's because I have to average them out. But we did this thing where I didn't look at him, he didn't look at me as he was saying it. So I hid my reaction to how I felt about them. Because if we were looking at each other, I probably would. But yeah, okay, you ready?
Yep.
You got a prediction for Dead Last?
My guess is it's probably the same as mine.
You're Dead Last?
Yeah.
In Dead Last, at 26, with a 25 rating, average 25 between the two of us, we have The Good Dinosaur.
Really?
Yeah, Good Dinosaur. So I gave Good Dinosaur's my Dead Last movie
Okay.
on my list.
Okay.
Which kind of hurts. I really didn't want it to be Dead Last, to be honest.
Yeah.
I just couldn't not put it last. I really didn't enjoy watching it. It got my worst rating, which our scales are completely off on this. It's not like we both like used the same thing for it. Like we used it out of 10, but like our scale is completely off. So, my worst ranking out of 10 is 6.6 out of 10, and that is what I gave The Good Dinosaur. So,
Okay.
and it fell 3 spots from my initial list, which I had it at 23 beforehand.
Okay. My Good Dinosaur, I've got it at number 24. And that only went down one spot because
Yeah.
I hadn't seen it before.
Yeah.
And I've got it at a 6.4 out of 10.
So that shows our difference. My Dead Last is 6.6 and his 24th is 6.4. So it's gonna be a little bit different. Our average out of 10, so like if we were critics and we gave this a rating on the internet,
Yeah.
it'd be a 6.5 out of 10. And it fell 2 spots from our initial list. So,
Okay.
I don't know if we want to talk about The Good Dinosaur.
We can briefly, I mean.
This
It-
might be a long video. Like,
It,
to be
yeah.
fair, I don't mind it being long. It's a culmination of about 15 days that we spent our life dedicating
Yeah.
towards. So I don't really care if this is a 2-part video or not. But Good Dinosaur, I took very short notes, but I said Arlo's arc is pretty good, and probably the best part of the movie, like him just not being afraid anymore.
Yeah.
But beside that, I wasn't a huge fan of it. It felt very like kiddie. Like it felt like a very childish movie compared to most Pixar movies.
Yeah.
And the funniest part about the entire movie was them tripping on berries. That was the only funny part in my opinion. And them like digging dirt with their head was
Oh,
pretty funny
yeah,
too.
just thunk and
Yeah.
yeah.
But besides that, I didn't really get much out of this movie. Like that's yeah, I don't know. It
Yeah.
felt very childish for Pixar, which I get Pixar's Disney. I get it's like a kid's thing, but it felt like I almost wasn't like supposed to be watching it because I was like too old for it.
Okay.
So
Yeah. I mean, the only things I wrote down is took forever to introduce the villain.
yeah, that's
It
another
took
thing.
like 50 minutes to introduce them, which is like a common thing I noticed with Pixar. It's like it usually comes up as like this, oh no, we're lost and we have to get back to where we were, and then this like secondary plot that's also the villain, which is repeated a lot in the Pixar movies, but this one's villain was just kind of meh. Like, I get their whole thing. They're like, oh, we followed the storm. And then they teamed up with T Rexes for some reason.
My biggest pop off through these 15 days was calling that T-Rex was the dad in
Oh.
Barnyard. It was the most random thing ever. He was talking like I can't remember the T-Rex's name. It's the big dad T-Rex. I was like, oh, he kind of sounds like the cow that sings "Don't Back Down" in Barnyard. And I looked, and it was. So I was like, let's go. But
Yeah.
yeah,
And then I wrote down I pretty much predicted the whole movie.
yeah, you did real time. Everything
Yeah.
that happened.
Yeah.
So,
While we were watching it, I'm like, oh, well, that's how that's gonna pan out. And then
uh,
it did, and I was like, okay.
yeah,
So it's not a bad movie.
no. There's really no bad Pixar movie.
Yeah.
They're all good, but this was just the worst one out of all of them,
Yeah.
in my opinion. I know you have a different last place, so which we'll talk about right now. In 25th place, with a 24.5 average, we had Cars 2. I had Cars 2 at 23 with a 7 out of 10 ranking. It fell 3 spots from my initial list, which it was at 20. What do you give Cars 2?
Yeah, well, Cars 2 is last on my list. I gave it a 6 out of 10, and it fell 4 spots from our last video. It's like, of course, you gotta compare it to the first one, which is about racing. We don't need the spies. Like,
No.
I don't care.
Okay. Here's my thing. Also, we collectively, um, there was, I will mention this real quick. There were 3 times where our scale did not match our list, and this is one of them. Because it was tied with the Good Dinosaur for our 10 out of 10 ranking, or whatever, out of 10 ranking. It was also 6.5 out of 10. But
Huh.
it had different points. So,
Yeah.
but the reason why Cars 2 is a little bit higher, like, than last, it's at 23 for me.
Yeah.
The racing in this movie is good racing.
Mm-hmm.
And if they focused on that racing, it'd be a pretty solid movie. But holy shit, the spy part sucks.
I really did not care. It I don't really think Francesco was a good like evil villain. I think he was solid for being like a competitive race car that we haven't met before, but it's like besides that,
I don't even really think he was a villain.
yeah, I
To
mean,
be
it
fair,
was more about the guy with the
the
fuel.
Nazi car.
Yeah.
Um,
It's like, yeah, they were the real villains, but I don't know.
he's just a weird like side annoying car that ended up being like I mean, he came to Radiator Springs after the fact, so he was like pretty chill, I guess.
Yeah.
But
And then the guy that was selling the new fuel
yeah,
turning out to be the big villain where it's like I still really just did not care.
I didn't care either.
Um,
The reveal was like, okay, like I
Yeah.
really don't care.
Yeah, I mean they like focused on Mater more, which is neat, but I don't think that's what Cars is
I
about.
get every trilogy, the second movie usually focuses on not the main character, usually, unless it's like a solo movie.
Yeah.
but and I don't even really hate Mater. I
No,
don't. But
Mater's
like
a good character.
but like I didn't like Mater in this movie.
Yeah, it just
I literally wrote on my thing, um, yeah, I wrote literally word for word. I think this movie started out really dumb, but the spy stuff is really dumb. The racing was solid. The first one shits on this one. Word for
yeah.
word.
I mean, like the idea of the racing part is actually like pretty sick. Like they go overseas and they meet with other cars that are really good in their own respective races.
Yeah.
And then they have like a combined track of some are better in this section and this section, and then they all race. Like that's
Hmm.
cool.
Yeah.
But we never got like official results because half of them blew up in both races.
Yeah.
And I mean, I I mean, Francesco and Lightning tied when it comes down to numbers because they both won once.
Yeah.
I mean, they're like leaning towards Lightning because he beat Francesco at his home track, and it's like, oh, but like when it comes down to numbers, they tied. It's like, okay. I mean, I can see why they did that because with F1, they didn't want to piss that community off
Yeah.
because I mean, I don't really think F1 would take a NASCAR. Or no, F1 would
Yeah.
take a
I know what
NASCAR.
you mean. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But it was like it was good, but I didn't care about the spy stuff.
Yeah. No, I didn't really care either.
Like Finn McMissile's cool, Holly's cool. It's not about racing,
Yeah.
and that's what Cars is about.
In 24th place with 23.5 points, we have Turning Red. Turning Red for me was 22nd on my list. It got a 7.2 out of 10. It was also 22nd on my last list as well. Um, yeah.
Turning Red was 25 on my list. I gave it a 6.1 out of 10 and it dropped 7 spots.
Jesus Christ.
Um I mean, I just didn't find it relatable
No.
at all, and that's why it was low. I mean, the whole like red panda thing's kind of cool, and then the fight at the end was fun-ish.
I didn't I don't know. Like yeah, I don't know. Anyways, our together list, we collectively ranked it a 6.65 out of 10. Dropped 4 spots on our other list, which was 20th on our initial list, but now it's 24th. It's okay.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of hated Mei Mei, the main character. I could not
The
agree with her at all.
the beginning was probably the worst part of the movie.
Yeah.
Just like the whole like I don't say no to anything. Like I'm my own person, and then like like I get it's her arc, but like literally 2 seconds later was like, but I do what my mom wants me to do all the time. I also hated the mom. The mom was like, God, like this is awful.
Yeah,
Like
it
stalking her at every point in time in the movie, like at school. That was just like, God, why? Like stop.
Yeah. I think the best part about this movie was her friends.
Yeah, no,
Like
I
they were all
agree.
really good
I
characters.
agree. Yeah, no, friends were fun.
Yeah.
The guy that like bullied her and then ended up being at the concert was kind of funny.
Yeah. It's like could have predicted that, but it
Yeah.
was like fun to see it happen.
Banger song.
True. Yeah. No, I mean, I was I don't really have much besides that
No,
to be
I don't
honest.
really
It's like
either. It's just solid. Like that's
yeah,
it.
it's
Like
like it's good.
a lot of people crap on it. I see it. I don't know. Here, wait. I'll read what I wrote down. I said I'm not a huge fan of the whole story. Like I get it, but I wasn't a fan of it. Um, the twerking part was awful.
Yeah.
But when they all turn into pandas, that was kind of sick at the end.
Yeah,
But
the end fight scene was the best part of the movie.
I will say, spoilers,
Oh, yeah.
I
I
mean,
mean,
it's really your fault at this point. We
yeah.
watched all the movies, we're gonna talk about all the movies. So there's that.
I just kind of assumed.
Yeah, no. Anyways, I mean we didn't really say what happened, but it's fine.
I'm gonna spoil other movies
Yeah.
pretty much.
At number 23, with an average of 23, we got Brave. I put Brave at 24th on this list for myself. It got a 6.8 out of 10, and it dropped 6 spots in my ranking. It was initially at 17, no, 18. I don't know about you.
I've got Brave at 22. It dropped 3 spots, and I've got it at a 6.6 out of 10.
I have one huge problem about this movie. It's not Pixar. This is Pixar trying to be Disney. This is
Yeah,
literally like Pixar doesn't need to try and be any other company. And I
no,
get Disney and Pixar together. I get it. But Pixar isn't Disney. Disney is like magical moments, Disney princesses, just like overall like musical movies.
yeah,
Like this movie felt like a knockoff Disney movie. It
yeah.
didn't feel like Pixar. It also didn't feel like Disney. It felt like a knockoff Disney movie. Like you ordered a movie from Wish. I I just don't like it. I have it on Blu-ray. I clearly liked it as a child.
Yeah,
It's just like compared to the other movies, it's just not good. Like it's really not. I mean, I don't know. How do you feel about it?
yeah. It feels like Disney forced Pixar to like make a princess movie.
Yeah.
They're like, we're out of ideas. You guys make one. And then they were like, okay.
Yeah, like yeah.
I mean, besides like Meredith's mother, Meredith was like her own villain.
Yeah.
He like, I don't know. It just the whole emotion of this movie, everyone was just kind of angry the whole time. It was
Which
like,
was just annoying.
yeah,
Collectively we gave it a 6.7 out of 10. It dropped 5 spots on our list. It was initially at 18. Um, there were funny parts of this movie. I enjoyed the dad. I
the
enjoyed the little brothers.
yeah.
I enjoyed the guys that like tried to win over
Oh
Merida.
yeah.
They were funny. Like those like the Viking groups were funny.
Mm-hmm. The other tribes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The like Merida like popping off and like in the archery was pretty sick.
Yeah.
I don't mind Merida as like a character. I almost said as a person. I don't know Merida, but as a character, I don't mind her. I get it. I get her arc. Get she doesn't want to get married. She wants to be her own person,
Yeah.
do her own thing. It just wasn't Pixar to me. Like, let me check something real quick.
Yeah. I mean, I wished we just saw more of that like archery
Yeah, or
Merida.
action.
Yeah.
I get they fought the bear. It really wasn't that much of a fight though. It was like
Yeah.
running and then so yeah, we watched Brave in between Cars 2 and Monsters University, which are like huge franchises for Pixar,
Yeah.
and it just felt like we took a break by watching like a weird Disney movie in between. It really
Mhm.
didn't feel like a part of Pixar. So,
It's like they were trying to make Monsters University, and Disney's like, no, you need to come out with
yeah.
a princess movie right now. And then
Yeah.
they're like, oh, okay. And then they just came out with Brave.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty icky. Up next we got a tie for 21st place. The first of the 21st place we might get a lot of hate for it. This is my fault, but I just don't like the movie. We
Okay.
got Finding Dory at 20 with 21 average points. I have Finding Dory as my 25th movie on
Oh
this
my
list.
God.
I gave it a 6.7 out of 10 and it dropped 9 spots on my list.
I've got Finding Dory at my 17. with a 7.3 out of 10, and it went up 4 spots from my last list.
I did not like Finding Dory. Um, this is probably one of my biggest hot takes on here. I didn't like it. The whole Dory arc is cool. I'm not a fan of Ellen. I don't like
Yeah,
Dory. I just don't like Dory. Like that's my biggest thing. I get Dory's arc. I like Dory more in Nemo, and that was in her movie. I like finding her parents is cool. I like the like area where it took place. Like I like the whale.
yeah,
Whale's pretty cool. It didn't do much for me though. It was kind of like it's one of those things where I was like looking at the time of the movie and going like, "Dang, we're only like 50 minutes into this movie. Like I'm kind of already done with this movie."
yeah,
But with me liking where the location was, I also feel like that was a downside because it felt like they didn't go anywhere this movie. Which beside like the first one, they went across the entire ocean.
mm-hmm.
There's different spots during the movie. There's different people they met. I get they met different people in this movie, but it just felt so enclosed compared to the first one. I wasn't that big of a fan of it. So
Yeah. I mean, for me, they just kind of felt felt like it was a cash grab
yes,
because it kind of took forever to come out.
yeah,
Like, I don't know. I think I want to say like 2017. Nemo came out in like 2003 or something.
something like that.
Like, ah, they they developed a character they didn't really need to. The reason it's at 17 though, I like Hank. Just a big Hank guy.
I will say, besides the fact I don't like this movie looks good.
That's true.
Um, and one reason it took a very long time for this movie to come out, which I found out pretty recently, is do you remember the scene where Hank is like going around the room like disguising into different things, just running away? That
Yeah.
took 3 years to animate.
Oh my God.
Yeah, pretty nuts.
Yeah.
But
There were a lot of like clever, like kind of comedic parts too, with like a bunch of references to the first movie. But another gripe I had is it felt like they were trying to copy the first two movie too much. Um, because Dory gets lost, and then you see a lot of the same things happen. But the moments with like the seals, like that was funny. Like get off the rock. The moments with the bird, I think it's Bessie or Betsy.
oh yeah,
Yeah,
Betsy.
yeah,
Yeah.
that was kind of fun. And then like them being terrified of the kids grabbing them. It's like it's kind of fun to see
Felt
that.
very Toy Story 3,
Yeah.
which was like okay, because Toy Story 3 obviously came out before this movie, so I was
Yeah.
like okay.
It was like it's kind of fun to see it from the fish perspective. Like we all know that it sucks to be in the uh the the zone where the kids can touch all the fish. It's really it's over exaggerated because that makes it more funny.
Yeah,
But yeah, I mean, I really liked the blind whale and the the other whale.
the echolocation one
Yeah,
that was like oh
yeah, yeah. Like there were funny moments in this movie.
yeah, no,
I'll give it that. But the whole plot is just kind of copied, and no Bruce.
no Bruce, yeah, huge L. I
Yeah,
think the best part about this movie, and then we'll move on. I think the part where they were driving the car was really funny to me, and
yeah,
then they jumped into the ocean with the car and just let
yeah.
everyone free. That was cool. I was just about to say something, but I forgot. Oh well, we talked enough about Dory. Also tied at 21 with 21 as well. Oh yeah, also Finding Dory, collectively we gave it a 7 out of 10. It dropped 3 spots from our initial list. So, it was at 19 before. And then tied with Finding Dory with 21 points, also with the 7 out of 10 collectively was Onward. I had Onward at 21 I gave it a 7.3. It dropped 4 spots from my initial list, being at 17. Yeah, 17.
I have Onward at 21, and it went up 4 spots because I hadn't seen it before, and gave it a 6.7 out of 10. You know, it was neat, nice. Um,
I don't know.
Chris Pratt, Tom Holland.
Cool duo.
Yeah,
I mean, you can just tell that it's them too.
yeah,
I mean, we're huge Marvel fans, so we watch a lot of their content already. Chris Pratt's in literally everything nowadays, like everything,
yeah.
which is great. I think he's one of the most like on fire actors. Obviously, this movie came like 2 or 3 years ago, but I'm just saying he's on fire as of late as an actor. The story, I get what they're going for. I just wasn't huge on it. I I don't know. Like I feel like Chris' character's Barley and then the other one was Ian, I think. Maybe.
I think so.
I don't know. I thought Ian was kind of a dick to Barley the entire movie, which was like I get it. I get Barley's supposed to be like that character that screws everything up,
Yeah.
but like holy shit, like you're just being a dick. Like
Yeah.
and then the part where like I don't know. It just I get the ending. It was a sweet ending. It just didn't do much for me. Like, I don't know.
The whole movie was kind of annoying, to be honest. Just the dad's legs. That was so like underwhelming. I get it was the plot. They discovered this hidden magic he never knew he had, and he finally gets to meet his dad. But it's like, eh.
Yeah, it just really didn't do much for me. It wasn't that funny. It wasn't like, I don't know. Emotionally, it just wasn't there for me. I get what it's going for, but I wasn't that big of a fan. I don't really have much else to say about it, honestly.
I'm like more of a fan of movies with like a villain versus like the quest,
Yeah,
which there was no villain until they released the rock dragon.
yeah, which was pretty underwhelming in my
Yeah,
opinion. Like, I get it, but
and
also, the like low flying people that like were
oh
driving
yeah,
motorcycles were annoying to me. I didn't find that to be that funny. It was just like I get there's supposed to be a rock on the quest, like blocking their way, but like it was just annoying. I also didn't like the horse cop. He was dumb. His
oh
laugh was kind of funny
the
though.
centaur.
Yeah.
Yeah, um, I wrote down that as someone who plays D&D, there's a lot of like things that are reminiscent of like an actual D&D session, like things going terribly wrong when you're trying to do something. And it's like when you get those newer characters, it's like, yeah, when you try and grow the gas can, you accidentally shrink your friend because you cast it wrong. Like that's something funny that would happen during D&D, but that's also like a very niche audience. It's growing now because of Stranger Things, but that that is not something everyone will get. And
It was very D&D like related
yeah,
movie. Like I think it was something they were definitely going for during the
yeah,
movie.
that
So
that was definitely the goal. Like the quest was very D&D too. You get
yeah.
the mountains, and then they're like riding the the horse that's a van the whole time. I think it like the sweetest part was realizing that Barley was like reminiscent of his father the whole
He was
time.
the father figure pretty much the
Yeah.
entire time, which is like cool. And then Barley got to meet the dad because he didn't really have a father figure, and it was yeah,
Yeah. Which was like a nice turn, but that was really all I gave. Like, yeah,
yeah. It was yeah. We'll move on.
yeah.
Um, at number 20 with a 20.5 like overall thing, we got Cars 3. I gave Cars 3 a 7.7 out of 10. It is 18th on my list. It jumped 7 spots on my list, surprisingly. So,
I've got it at number 23 with a 6.5 and it dropped 3 spots.
I enjoyed this movie. I think it's overhated. I get a lot of people don't really care for the Cars franchise in general. It's probably the worst rated franchise in Pixar. I don't know. I just enjoyed that there was actually racing in this movie.
Yeah.
I think that was another thing because after Cars 2, I was so like, God,
Yeah,
like
you wanted it so
yeah,
much.
it was such an edge, and like they're introducing this new character. I kind of forgot her name already. It's a trainer that ended up taking over for Lightning.
Yep.
I forgot her name.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Spoiler alert. But yeah, I didn't like her at first. She was
Oh,
annoying.
Cruz.
Yeah, Cruz didn't like her at the beginning. She got better through the movie.
Yeah.
Um, Obviously this was Lightning's send-off movie. He's clearly done racing. He's the manager now. He's what Doc was at the in the first movie,
Yep.
which is cool. Full circle moment. It's just solid. Like I don't really have anything bad to say about it. I get it was kind of like, did we really need Cars 3? Especially after Cars 2.
They made it to make a comeback and then they're like, okay, we're done.
Yeah. I don't really have much else to say about it, honestly.
My gripe is they just kind of copied Cars 1. They were like, um, they switched it in a way that Lightning, f- because he was top dog for so long, or he was fighting with two other racers, um, he was struggling again. So then he got like a boost from Rusty's in their training center, and then they kind of went on this, him and Cruz went on this journey, and they found the guy that trained Doc, and it's like, I mean, another thing with Cars 2 that I hated is they're like, oh, Doc's dead. Okay.
Yeah,
Like,
they just
I'm,
like one of the best characters from the
yeah,
first movie's just dead like
yeah,
randomly, like nothing. Get they explored that more this movie, but Cars 2,
yeah.
yeah, it's another
They're
bad
like,
thing about Cars 2.
yeah, they're like, Doc's dead. I'm like, I really like Doc Hudson, so that made me very angry. Um, but I feel like they made it to go into Doc because they just kind of left that, and then yeah, basically Lightning finds old guy that trained other mentor, and then they did good. I mean, I liked Jackson Storm though. He was annoying.
Mm. I did not like Jackson Storm, and here's why. I get it. It's the new generation of cars.
Yeah.
They're supposed to be fast. They like test the course a ton. They try
Yeah.
and top their speed, like time trial version. But beating Jackson Storm to get in his head, really, Cruz was just like, "Oh, I'm coming up on you. Oh, I'm coming up on you," and Jackson's like, "What the heck?"
Oh,
And then he
yeah.
lost.
Yeah.
Like that was dumb. Like why didn't Lightning do that?
Yeah.
Uh,
It's just because he's got like all the new fandangled parts in him where you kind of brought up the argument. That's why you make different leagues. That's why
yeah,
you.
no, I brought that up. I was
Yeah.
like, if these like older cars are fed up, why don't they just make their own league with just older cars?
Yeah.
And then I said this in the movie, and then have Jackson Storm's people in a different league.
Exactly.
Sure, people wouldn't mind it. Like, it
Yeah.
doesn't have to be Piston Cup related for both cars.
Yeah.
They could
It's
make a whole new league for these Jackson Storm type cars and not call it the Piston Cup.
yeah.
I get the Piston Cup has had generations and like Doc's generation changed to newer cars, but it
Uh-huh.
wasn't this drastic, like where they're like literal supercars. I don't know. That
Yeah.
was very frustrating to me.
The reason I think he's a good character is because he was like this cocky young newcomer, and then as soon as someone did what he was doing to other people, he just folds. It's
Yeah,
like that's funny.
it's funny. I
Yeah.
just, I don't know.
Yeah, it's
Could
annoying.
could just completely missed this whole thing by making a different league completely.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
All right, next up, we got a tie for 18th place. First, with a 19.5 rating, or not rating, average, we got Bug's Life. I had a Bug's Life at 20 with a 7.4 out of 10. It dropped one spot on my list.
I have A Bug's Life at 19 with a 7 out of 10, and it dropped 3 spots on my list.
Do we ever give the Cars 3 overall ranking? If I
Um,
didn't, Cars 3 got a 7.1 out of 10 collectively. And it actually jumped 3 spots on our list. So, yeah. But Bug's Life had a 7, we collectively gave it a 7.2 out of 10, and it dropped 3 spots.
I really didn't remember this movie the first time around.
No.
Like, I feel like it kind of sticks out. It's very Pixar, but it's like, I don't know, they never expanded on it, which I don't think they really needed to.
Yeah, it's a very one-dimensional story. I think it was just such a weird release after Toy Story because Toy
Yeah.
Story absolutely destroyed
Yeah.
box office, and then they came out with this. As you mentioned in the last video, this came out like literally like the same year, if not like a year in between as Ants as well, the DreamWorks
Yeah.
movie, which is just weird. Like
Yeah.
why? Why are two Bugs movies coming out in the same
Yeah.
area? Two completely different movies, by the way. I don't know if you remember the DreamWorks one at all. That was like
No.
about war.
I don't remember ants at all.
Maybe sometime we'll do a DreamWorks ranking because there's a lot of DreamWorks movies.
It's true.
Um, I just didn't get much out of this movie. This is kind of like this region of like 24 through like 18. I just didn't get much out of, to be honest. It just was kind of like it's okay. Like it's
Yeah.
not anything better. It was a weird placement. It feels like a movie that should have been like midway through our watching, but it's the second movie, which is collided with like the best era of Pixar of all time.
Yeah.
And then there's A Bug's Life, which is just like okay.
Yeah.
Um, Flick didn't
Flick
do
was
much for me.
annoying.
Yeah, I
He,
kind
oh
of
my,
didn't like Flick,
yeah.
which doesn't help. Thumper is a cool villain, if that's his name. The whatever bug that is.
He's a grasshopper. I
Yeah,
don't think
Hopper.
Hopper. I was
Yeah,
like, Thumper's the bunny from Bambi.
yeah, Hopper. He's cool.
Yeah.
He's a good villain. I appreciated that because as you get later into Pixar movies, there isn't many villains that stick out anymore, which kind of like
Yeah.
sucks. But yeah, Hopper's good. I enjoyed Hopper. I think he was the best part about this movie, in my opinion. The circus people were weird. I didn't really like how much they hated Flick. Like everything he did was just like, "Oh, I hate you, Flick."
Yeah.
And then when he finally did something good to try to help the village, and they found out they were circus people, not like warriors, everyone hated him even more. It was just like
Yeah.
he can't do anything right.
Yeah, he's like
Like
he's doing his best.
yeah, like goddamn, just let him be. Like he's
Yeah.
trying. He's one of like thousands of ants actually trying to help their village.
Yeah. I said it was sweet but corny, and like what I did enjoy was everything came full circle. Like there were moments where things would happen at the beginning and then they would solve themselves at the end. I couldn't give you examples because I don't really remember. I mean, there's a thing where like Flick and his inventions that he would use because he's like, oh, well, this just makes it easier, and everyone was like, no.
Yeah, you're dumb. Like,
Yeah,
and then they used it at the end.
yeah, like the thing to cut down the grass to get the seeds. Like everyone was using those at the end, and it's like, yeah, of course that's so much more efficient than
Yeah.
what you guys were doing before. And then even like the telescope with the drop of water on the leaf to see, it's like, yeah, that's sick. And then I enjoyed the circus bugs. It's like they the miscommunication was really cringy. It's like, oh no, I can't wait for them to like figure out what's happening. It's like, "Arr."
I I wasn't excited for them to figure out what was happening because I just
Yeah,
knew it was just gonna turn out so bad for
yeah.
Blake. Like, yeah, that
Um,
was one of the more like. There's like some movies where you're like, I know something bad's about to happen. I'm gonna
yeah,
cringe when it happens. That was this.
yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, God, this is gonna suck when it comes up.
Yeah. I'm also just kind of a sucker for like circus related things just because I find them cool. I like the accordion music and stuff. But yeah, there were a lot of like haha clever moments with like the ladybug being a guy and then the stupid beetles hitting on him. It's like ah. But yeah, it's an alright
I
movie.
also hated the flea. Like the
Oh,
main
Ham.
yeah, the main circus guy was annoying.
Yeah, the guy that was voiced by Ham.
That was another thing we picked up was the voice of Ham from Toy Stories in like 95% of these movies.
Yeah, so like John Roethlisberger or something like that. I
Not
don't know,
sure.
but yeah, we would always try and find him.
Yeah, that's one of our traditions of every movie. Next up, also tied with 18 with a 19.5 average, we got Lightyear. I gave Lightyear's 19th on my list, got 7.6 out of 10. It jumped 7 spots because it was in dead last the first time because I
Yeah,
hadn't seen it yet. Um,
I have Lightyear at 20, got a 6.8 out of 10, and it jumped 6 spots because it's also in dead
yeah.
last.
Uh, it got a collective 7.2 out of 10 for us. It jumped 8 spots. It was dead last in our first ranking. Um, it was okay.
Yeah.
I didn't really have too much issue with it. I think Chris Evans did really good as Buzz. I
Mm-hmm.
think that was a highlight. Um, Not having Tim Allen was weird at first, but I understand that this is the movie that Andy watched to get into Buzz, and
Yeah.
obviously there's a toy Buzz and now there's a movie Buzz, and they're two different people completely, which I can appreciate.
Yeah.
Um, the Taika Waititi guy, I can't remember his actual character, but the person that got played by Taika Waititi was pretty funny, and the
Yeah.
old lady was pretty funny, and I think Socks was easily the best part of this entire
Yes.
movie. So
Socks had all the funny moments besides the Taika Waititi, who like I don't know. He
I
was
got a
very
pen.
clumsy.
I got a pen in my suit. You need a pen? You need a pen?
Yeah,
And it finally came through, which is cool.
yeah. Um, there are moments like that where it was like, yeah, people would actually do that in real life. Like if I had a pen in my suit, like yeah, I'd,
It's
I'd
like
be
with your DS when you slide it in and
yeah,
out of your DS.
yeah. Oh
That's
man.
instantly what I thought of.
Yeah, you need a pen. Yeah. No, I mean, it was a solid movie. It kind of like I can see why they made it. I feel like it was a little too overhyped, and then it came out and people just dumped on it a ton.
Well, I don't know. It was the first Toy Story spin-off, so everyone was like, "Oh, this is gonna be good," and it was
Yeah.
okay. The Zurg twist was very interesting. It made so much more sense, the Toy Story 2 reference,
Yeah.
which was kind of cool. I enjoyed that a
Yeah.
lot. Um, because obviously Toy Story 2, it made it seem like it was Star Wars,
Mm-hmm.
and it was just actually what the movie was.
Yeah.
Um, I don't really have much else to say about this movie.
Yeah, it was very, I don't know. It made me angry that Buzz just kept going around the sun or the star
Yeah.
and just kept wasting his life. Well, not
He didn't really
wasting.
waste his life. He wasted the time with other people. Because
Yeah.
the only people I knew from this movie was the girl, 'cause she was in the Lego set. Whenever I looked at the Lego set, I wanted to get it.
Uh-huh.
But like it kind of twisted me. I don't think it was a twist overall because you weren't really supposed to know. But just because I looked at the Legos, the first Hawthorne girl I saw. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
that's gonna be the girl in the set, and then it ended up being the granddaughter in the set, which was like, oh, that's weird.
Yeah.
But like, I don't think that was really a twist for anyone else, just because I only looked at the Lego version of this, so
Chris Evans back with another man stuck in time.
literally, I was like, because I knew it wasn't Tim Allen when he started talking, because Tim Allen just like has that voice. You're like, oh, I know it's Tim Allen. And I was
Yeah.
like, who is this? It sounds so familiar. And I was like, it's Captain America playing Buzz
Yeah.
Lightyear. Like, what the hell? I think he did. I think he did good though. Like, I appreciated it. So
Yeah.
number 17, the first movie on our list that didn't move from our initial list was 17.5 average. We got Luca.
Oh.
Uh, Luca on my list was 17.
Oh.
Um, I gave it a 7.8 out of 10. It jumped 4 spots on my list.
I have Luca at 18 with a 7.2 out of 10, and it dropped 3 spots on my list.
Collectively, we gave this a 7.5 out of 10. And like I said, it's the first one that actually stayed in our initial ranking of this. I enjoyed Luca. It was
Yeah.
pretty solid. I didn't like it going into this. The first time I watched it, it wasn't like I was really paying attention. I was like, "Oh, new Pixar movie, I'll throw it on while I play on my phone." And I was
Yeah.
like, kind of sucked. Like the first time I watched it, because I really didn't get into the characters much. I was just like, this is just a weird version of The Little Mermaid.
Yeah.
But I liked it. I like the dad. He's pretty chill. I like the girl. I don't remember their names very well. The girl that
The
like helps
human.
them. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't like the parents. They were annoying. I think that was the whole point of the movie though. So they're
Yeah.
trying to protect Luca from the like above water world, even though they were in it a lot, trying to find him.
Yeah.
The villain, I think this is one of the better villains in the recent Pixar age.
Yeah.
Like I genuinely was like, oh, I hate this guy. Like
Yeah.
I actually felt hatred towards a villain.
And they introduced him like I want to say like 20 minutes in,
Yeah.
not even. It's like not long after they got to the surface, they built the fake Vespa, and then they went into town, and then he was there. It's like, thank you for not making us wait an hour.
Yeah, no, and I remember pretty early, like when they were signing up to join the race, the woman that was like signing people up was like, you're not 16 or whatever, like whatever the age was. And
Yeah.
he's like, what do you mean? I am. And she's like, this is like your fifth year being in this.
Yeah, which is like,
I don't know why they didn't stop him there,
yeah.
but
It's like the same thing with that one guy that plays for, I want to say like Georgia.
oh yeah, the quarterback,
Yeah.
Stetson,
It's like, what are you
like
doing
the
here?
sixth year senior, yeah.
Yeah. It's like, why are you still here?
He got drafted.
Did he really?
Yeah. He's a Ram. He's the backup for Stafford this year.
Oh my God.
Bro's like older than half the roster already. Um,
Oh. But no, it's just like I think you had to be like 12 and she's like, "Aren't you 16?" He was like,
no. I mean, obviously they can do it multiple years because
"Yeah.
she's done it like 2 or 3 years
Yeah.
too. But he's clearly older than all the other children
Oh
in
yeah, he
this.
was taller and he's just bigger and yeah. I mean, I really liked all the characters in this movie. Even though I didn't like the parents, it was like they were still good characters because they played good parents.
Yeah.
Because it made sense that they were like overprotective and everything.
The scene where they're just like launching kids in the water while playing soccer is like, okay, that just
Yeah.
wouldn't happen.
Yeah.
But I get they're not used to human norms either. So I was like, okay. I don't know. I don't really find it any like there's not really any glaring negatives in this movie. I was very worried about the cringe, like them finding out that they're sea monsters thing.
Oh yeah.
Wasn't that cringe though. I didn't cringe as hard as I thought I would. Um, the ending was sweet. I appreciated
Yeah.
it. Him going to school. Uh, the other one, staying with the dad, helping with
Mm-hmm.
the fish business. Cute ending. I liked
Yeah.
it.
And then the two older ladies that got revealed at the end that they were fish people the whole time. Did you see that?
No.
Oh, well, when they first come into town, they like bump
No,
into.
yeah, I know what you're talking about. I
Yeah,
just
yeah,
didn't
yeah.
realize that they're fish either.
Oh,
Yeah,
well,
I didn't see that part.
at the end, it started raining, and then they took off their umbrellas and they turned into fish people.
Oh, I
Yeah.
didn't even see that part. That's kind of funny, honestly.
Yeah. No, let's see. I wrote down, I like the whole thing. They're like whatever. They're just humans this whole time. And then at the end of the race, when they got revealed to the town, they were like, "Wait a minute, you're different." And it's like they didn't care until
Yeah,
they saw it, which is the whole thing. They were like, then they're kind of discriminating against them, and it's like, ah, and then
I'm just glad because obviously the villain wanted to kill them,
yeah,
but like I'm just glad it wasn't this huge like 15-minute like chase of trying to kill them. It was just like a oh we're sea monsters, grr for like 2 minutes and then get over it. Like it
yeah,
wasn't a huge like oh we're gonna come get you. Like I get that happened when the first one, not Luca, revealed it. Like they kind of start going. I forgot his name.
yeah,
When they went after him, but it was like only like 3 minutes of the movie. Another one was like shorter things. Yeah, I don't know.
yeah.
Luca was
No,
good.
it was a good movie.
Yeah, number 16 with an average of 16 points. We had Toy Story 4. I think we both ranked this at 16, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, we both at 16. I gave it an 8 out of 10. It jumped 8 spots on my list. It also jumped 8 spots on
It
your
also
list.
jumps 8 spots on my list. Yeah, it's also at 16. I gave it a 7.4 out of 10.
Collectively, we gave it a 7.7 out of 10. It jumped 9 spots on our overall list. It's Toy Story.
Yeah,
It's good.
I mean, I honestly thought that it got a lot more hate than it deserved. I feel
I
like a lot of people hated it.
I understand the hate, and it's because they're so mad that they are like ruining Andy's trilogy. But this
Oh,
isn't an Andy movie
yeah,
anymore, which I kind of had to come to realize. Woody leaving sucks, though. I'm not gonna lie.
yeah, that's why it
It
got knocked down.
I after we were done, like after I locked in my like Pixar ranking, like this one, I watched someone that I watch pretty often. Forgot his name. He's a YouTuber, but he does like rankings of movies, and I
Yeah.
watched his Pixar ranking, and Toy Story 4 was fourth on his list. Which cool.
Yeah.
It's a it's just a really high quality Toy Story movie.
Mm-hmm.
There's no Andy. I get that. Um, what's the new girl's name? I forgot her name.
Molly? No,
No,
Bonnie.
Bonnie. Bonnie's cool.
Yeah.
Forky was funny, I guess, trying to jump in the
Yeah.
garbage all the time. And
I don't
then,
blame him.
yeah, and then he became friends with the villain, like the doll. I forgot her name. Not good with
Isn't
names.
it like Gabriella?
Yeah, Gabby.
Gabby?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I appreciate the fact, like, Gabby really wasn't that much of a villain. She just wanted to be played with.
Yeah.
Understandable. Woody, I think that was another deciding factor for Woody to leave was he didn't have a voice box. He's kind of beaten down. Bo Peep making a comeback was cool in this movie.
Yeah.
Um, I know
Connor's at the
most.
front door.
Is he actually?
Yes.
I know a lot of people weren't fans of the new toys. At least that's what I've come to realize watching reviews of other people talking about it. But I enjoyed Duke Kaboom. He's funny. He's kind of like a one-dimensional character, but like it
Yeah.
was funny that he did what he was supposed to. And then like this, the Ducky and the
The bunny and
yeah,
Ducky.
they were funny. I
I
enjoyed
really
them
like those
because
guys.
that's Key and Peele.
Is it really?
Yeah, they played them. And the like whole like, oh, how he steal the keys, and it was just like them attacking the grandma every
Yeah.
single time
Yeah.
just for the grandma to put the keys in the bowl right next to them or whatever. That was
Yeah.
funny. I
How'd you
enjoyed
guys
it.
get the keys?
It was
Uh
really hard.
Yeah. Um I really like the puppets. The four like henchmen.
Yeah, I enjoyed them too. They
Just
were weird
yeah,
though.
exactly. It's just because they like their heads would spin around and they're like security cameras and they were really floppy. Like they're creepy, but I really liked them.
They were like just four versions of the baby from Toy Story 3.
Yeah. Um, let's
I
see.
just my number one flaw with this movie is Woody leaving. I just don't because they're gonna make another one. That's my only reasoning for this is
Yeah.
Toy Story 5's coming out in 2 or 3 years. What is this gonna be about? Is this gonna be a Woody and Bo Peep story? Is this gonna be another Buzz? Is Buzz gonna be the main character of this? Is Jesse gonna be the main character of this?
Yeah.
Are they just gonna like ditch the OG characters and start a new family? Like, which I wouldn't mind, but I don't think you should call it Toy Story anymore if you do that. But
Yeah, I
it just leaves a lot of questions in my head. And I think they should have stopped after Toy Story 3 in the first place. I'm fine
yeah.
with Lightyear. They can do spin-offs of Toy Story. They can even do Woody's Roundup if they wanted to. That would have
Yeah.
been a fun movie. But like, I don't know. It's not a bad movie.
No.
It's not. It's just like it leaves a lot of questions for the future for what's going to happen with these kind of movies. So,
Yeah, it kind of felt like they so sort of planned it because they wanted to give answers for like what happened to Bo Peep because they kind of Doc Hudsoned her. They're like, "Oh, Bo Peep's gone."
yeah. Yeah. I mean, I like Bo Peep, but it's not as big as Doc in my
Yeah,
opinion.
no, I mean, I agree with that, but
Yeah,
it was
no.
just like,
I get what you're saying though.
"Oh, Peep is gone. Let's not talk about it." Like it leaves that whole mystery and it answers that. But I like the idea of the whole antique store thing.
Yeah.
I kind of wish that there were like more creepy things in the antique store. I mean, they did have Timmy, the little trumpet guy, and with like the band on his back and the
Mm.
drum. Like they added him, and there's the whole rave under the machine, which I went to this one like antique store once, and it had like five massive floors. Like it was a huge warehouse, and there everything in that movie I've seen in that store.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's a good movie.
At 15, another tie with our initial list. We got with 13 average, we got Incredibles 2. I gave Incredibles 2, well, Incredibles 2 for me is at 12.
Mm-hmm.
And this, I don't know if I said this. This is 15. I'm pretty sure I said that. But
Yeah,
I put Incredibles 2 at 12. I gave it an 8.6 out of 10. It jumped 2 spots on my list.
I put Incredibles 2 at 14. I gave it a 7.7 out of 10, and I put it in the same exact spot.
Um, Collectively, we gave it an 8.15 out of 10. It, like I said, it did not jump or fall. It was in the same spot. I love Incredibles 2.
Yeah,
I there's just it just shows how many good Pixar movies there are for it being at our 15th spot.
yeah,
I This is one of those very few times in my opinion where a sequel came out very long time after the original and I was like this is still awesome.
uh-huh.
Like it did the complete opposite of what Dory did for me. Like cuz it cut off exactly after the first movie cuz obviously the Underminer ended the first one, started the second one.
Yeah,
Um I like the twist villain. I think she's really good,
yeah.
Evelyn.
Yeah,
Um I just I really enjoyed it.
yeah. No, it's a good movie. Um, I want to read what I wrote.
Jack's sick in this
So
movie.
Jack kind of carried. Um, I really liked the part where Bob had to go through the parenting and he was like all exhausted and everything.
Yeah.
Because like I feel like that's a good demonstration and saying like parents have superpowers kind of explains that.
Yeah, because there's a lot of conflict he had to deal with.
Yeah,
Because
like
Violet's boyfriend or boy that she liked got erased from
yeah.
his head. Jack would not go to sleep. He
Yeah.
had like 18 different superpowers that he had.
Yeah, he had
And
to
Dash didn't know how to do
I was gonna say he
math.
had to learn how to do math. I feel like it was very relatable
Yeah,
for
very
parents
relatable for yeah.
for all ages. Yeah. No, it's Edna mode.
Yeah, no, that brought back Edna. Edna's a goated Pixar
Yeah.
character. She's so good.
Yeah.
Um, Elastigirl's bad. Bad as fuck. Not gonna lie. Um, I enjoy I enjoyed her solo missions were pretty sick.
Yeah.
Uh, Frozone's like I was talking about it, Samuel L. Jackson's one of my goat actors. He
Yeah.
is in so many iconic roles, and it's not just because they're like good characters. He elevates the character
Oh
every
yeah.
time. Nick Fury, Frozone, Mace Windu, all those characters, and there's so many more he's been in too. Like
Yeah.
he's a goat in my eyes, like one of the best actors. So
Mm-hmm.
there isn't much else to say. Um, yeah, no, I think this is one of the better Pixar sequels in my opinion.
Oh,
So
definitely. It's like it didn't really feel like a cash grab either.
no,
It felt like they wanted to expand more on the Incredibles universe.
I hope they make a third one, honestly, which is
Yeah.
weird because I don't really Pixar movies besides like the Toy Story trilogy. It's like I don't know if I really want a trilogy for most of these, just because they feel like cash grabs at this point. But
Yeah.
I would really like a third one. I'm pretty sure they're making a third one. I don't know what they would do for the third one, but I think I just really like the universe in general. I think it's a
Yeah.
really great universe, and I just like The Incredibles a lot. So,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. So this is kind of funny. We have a three-way tie for 12th, and it's one of two three-way ties in this
Oh my
ranking.
God.
And I ranked them, which is very helpful. The out of 10 scale helped me put them in order because one of them wasn't the same as the other two, weirdly enough.
Hmm.
So for the first one of 12th, the biggest surprise of this list, in my honest opinion, we have with the 12.5 average Cars. You got a lot of talking to do over there. Cars for me, I had Cars higher than you did. I have Cars at 10th with 8.8 out of 10. It grew 1 point. You want to talk about yours?
I've got Cars at 15, with 7.5 out of 10, and it dropped 14 spots.
You
Uh,
want to explain why it dropped 14 spots?
um, I just don't think it's better than any of the movies that I ranked above it. It it holds so much nostalgia in my heart because it was the first movie I saw in theaters. But yeah, I mean, it's like an amazing comeback story. Like so many good characters in it too.
Yeah.
Um, I want to see if I wrote any criticisms down.
Collectively, we gave this an 8.15 out of 10. So same thing as Incredibles 2, even though it's higher. It's only higher by point 0.5. And it dropped 8 spots from our initial list. It was at 16 before. Or 6, not 16. And it
Yeah.
was only because you had it at number 1 before. So,
Yeah.
did you have any criticism?
I mean, I really like Lightning as a character too. All the characters are great. The story is original, but I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know if it beats all the other ones on this list.
I like I loved Cars as a kid, obviously. It's not like I hate Cars, but going into this movie with you having it at one, I was like, oh, I'm not very excited about this movie. But it rose a ranking for me. I
Yeah.
enjoyed it. Life is a Highway. Goated song.
Yeah.
Um, One thing I will say, and it was a point made by the YouTuber. I'll put his name right here above my head. I can't remember off the top of my head, so I'll do it in post. He was like, lightning's really unbearable at the beginning of the movie. He's like so unbearable to be around. He constantly is trying to escape Radiator Springs, which I get it. He's supposed to be a cocky race car,
Yeah.
but like, holy crap, he was just so annoying.
Yeah.
And like him destroying the road was like, God,
Yeah.
like how? Like how do you destroy the road like that?
Yeah.
But I like all the Radiator Springs characters. I I like the ending. I like him pushing the king through the finish line, making sure he finished the race, unlike Doc in
Yeah.
his last race. Chick Hicks, good villain.
Yeah.
I mean, he like literally tried to kill someone on the racetrack,
Yeah.
and he can't comes back, and he's annoying again. Um,
I mean, I guess that is one criticism I have is I'm a big fan of like powerful villains, and it's like Chick Hicks did like what he could, but it wasn't like I don't know. King's great, and Chick Hicks is an awful person. I just don't think he was like a strong villain. Like he sucked, but
I like Dinoco. I like
yeah.
that stayed in all three movies,
Mm-hmm.
and the third one especially. Like, yeah. I don't know. I don't really have much else to say about it. It's just a good movie
Yeah.
overall. It's like I said before, it's the worst ranked trilogy in Pixar. Even this movie's very low ranked
Yeah.
in Pixar. It's a movie about cars talking, which isn't relatable in the slightest. So, like, I understand that. Pixar is one of the companies where, like, it's supposed to have relatable content and good movies. It's just a good movie. It's not relatable to me. So,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it was gonna drop for me no matter what.
I just didn't know how far. That was far. Like, I thought it would still be top 10 for you, but goodness
Yeah.
gracious. Absolutely buried cars.
Yeah, looking at it from like a movie critic standpoint, it's a good movie. Like all Pixar movies are good movies, but yeah, I don't think it I don't think it beats what's above it.
Understandable. This is a big trio, by the way. We might get a lot of hate for where we have these.
Okay.
Which one of them is my fault. I think the other one, eh. Um, these are like three of the most, I wouldn't say one of the most iconic, but very iconic movies. Next, the second one titled 12th with a 12.5 average, we have Up. I have Up at 14 with an 8.4 out of 10. It dropped 7 spots for me.
I've got up at 12 with an 8.1 and it went up 2 spots for me.
Collectively, we gave Up an 8.25 out of 10. It dropped 3 spots on our ranking. The best first 15 minutes in any
Yeah,
movie ever.
that's why it's so high for me.
It would probably be, if it didn't have that much emotion, if the stakes weren't that high to get the house to, I forgot what it's called. Where are they taking it?
That one place with the waterfall. Yep.
Oh, what is it called? It's so iconic. I don't know how I almost said Radiator Springs by accident.
Yep.
You keep talking. You talk
Um,
about your side. I'm gonna look
yeah,
this
I
up.
mean, the whole moment at the end where it's like the person that turned out to be the villain was the guy him and his wife looked up to the whole time is like, whoa. But after the first 15 minutes setting the bar so high. The rest of the movie was just like meh.
It's Paradise Falls. I don't know how I
Oh,
forgot about that. But
yeah.
this might be a really hot take, but I think this movie would be like 15th, 16th if it didn't have that beginning part.
I agree with that. It
I
just it like peaks and then it just kind of slowly goes down.
Russell was way more annoying than I remember him being, to be honest. And I get
Yeah.
it. He has a sad backstory. He doesn't really have parents. It's sad. Um, Charles Muntz was a better villain than I remember him being. He's
Yeah.
pretty diabolical, to be honest. He wants to take Kevin. Like,
Yeah.
I get it. He's desperate. Like, he has a relatable kind of villain arc because, like, no one believed him that he found the Kevin dinosaur or whatever it is. And then he spent all these years trying to find Kevin, and they found him in like 10 minutes of being there. And
Yeah.
I get it. Um, I mean, like it's not a bad movie. It's just like it's the goated first 15 minutes ever, like probably in
Yeah.
any movie of all time.
It's
It's just like
so
the
good.
drop off is just so bad though.
Yeah.
It's still good. Like it's still good, but like nothing can top the first 15 minutes of that
No.
movie.
It's yeah. That's the reason why it's so high for me. And then it's like the airship part. It's like showing that he's rich, but it's like
I
why?
I actually thought that's where the movie picked up again. The fight on the plane.
Yeah.
The part where they're
Yeah.
walking through like the rainforest was really boring to me.
It felt like it took forever. Like the journey to get the house on top of Paradise Falls. It's like, oh my God.
I think I think the fight was good. I think that picked it back up, and also him never going through Ellie's book and realizing, all right, thanks for the adventure. Now you can make your adventure. That was like that gave me chills. Like that was
Yeah.
good. That was very good. That picked up the movie. Just the in between. Doug's funny. I like Doug. I like the
Yeah.
dogs. I like Kevin. I don't dislike any of these characters. It's just like the journey to that part where he's like, oh, like I'm making a different adventure now. Like I don't need to do this for me and Ellie anymore.
Yeah.
Like we completed our adventure. Now we need to do a different one. Like that was good. I enjoyed that part. So
But
it's still it's the middle is very dragging in my opinion. So yeah, kind of hurts the movie. And then probably the most hate we'll probably get on this entire list. This is my fault. At number 12, the last 12th place, and we'll probably start a new part. With 12.5 average, we have Finding Nemo. I have Nemo at 15 with an 8.3 out of 10, and it dropped 3 spots on my list.
I've got Nemo at 10 with an 8.2, and it went up 1 spot on my list.
Collectively, we gave this movie an 8.25 out of 10, and it dropped 1 spot on our ranking. Sorry, Forrest. This is gonna hurt your feelings. I just don't like Finding Nemo that much. It's just okay. Like, it's just okay. I don't like Dory, and that's probably my fault. Dory is probably one of the better Pixar movies arc-wise for most characters. It's just I don't like Ellen. I never really have liked Ellen, and
Yeah.
that really hurts the movie for me. I enjoy the story. I enjoy the adventure. Bruce is great. Crush is great. I love the adventure. I like the fish in the tank with Nemo. Like Willem Dafoe, like
Yeah.
Gil is great. All those characters are great. It's just not better than the rest of the movies on the ranking for me. And that's it. Like I can't say much else besides that.
Yeah. It's got like I think it has great characters, and that's like a big thing for me. I think all the characters are just they've got like all got solid objectives. Um, the beginning was really sad with,
Yeah.
yeah, the mom dying, protecting all the other fish eggs, and then only Nemo being left with like a little crack in his. It's like, man. And then so I think Marlin has the best character arc from being an overprotective parent to being like, okay, well,
Yeah, no, it's a very relatable for fish. It's a very relatable story for parents. I bet.
mm-hmm.
I'm just not a parent. I
Yeah.
can't comprehend that. I'm guessing when I'm older and if I have children and I watch this movie, I'll go.
Yeah. Um, I enjoy the journey. It's like kind of ridiculous the things that has to happen in order for Marlin and Dory to get to Nemo. Um, that was my chair.
That was funny.
My chair made a squeaking noise. Um, like the classic like mine.
Yeah.
Those guys, big funny. Um, and all the fish that like transformed into things. Yeah, Dory was pretty annoying in this movie. I mean, I get that's her whole character, but without Dory, they wouldn't have found Nemo because Marlin can't read. But
I don't know. I think the fish like I do not eat fish is my favorite part of the entire movie.
yeah,
And then Bruce going absolutely ballistic when he smells Dory's blood.
yeah,
I really like that part. It's probably my favorite part.
yeah. But I just the reason it's so high is it was an original story. That's why the second one is so low, is because it
Yeah.
just kind of copies it, brings in more characters. Like, yeah, there's a lot of like animals and sea creatures that could have been in Finding Nemo. Like they had the one anglerfish, which was sick, which is like the fish with the light
Hmm.
dangle.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they didn't really explore the deep sea, which I feel like we as humans don't even know that much
Yeah,
about it, so
no.
it's kind of hard to make a movie about. But the journey, I appreciated it, and yeah, I mean, there was no like villain besides like Darla,
Mhm.
which she was just kind of a subplot,
So
anyways.
that's another very lacking thing for the Finding franchise is they don't
Yeah,
really have villains. They just
yeah,
have people that take the fish out of the water, which I guess can be the villain. They just don't do much for the story.
and touch the butt. Like, that's a
Okay.
phrase that gets
Yeah.
used a lot.
As a child, I thought that was pretty funny, but like
Yeah.
now it's like, don't
I
do
still
it.
think it's fun.
Don't do it, Nemo.
Yeah.
Don't do it, Nemo.
Yeah. Him being a little rebellious child. And then the manta ray. Oh, just singing all the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, just the stories and the characters make it great for me.
All right. Number 11 with an average of 12. We got Monsters University. I have Monsters University at 11th with an 8.7 out of 10. It dropped one spot for me.
I've got Monsters University at 13th with a 7.9 out of 10, and it dropped 3 spots.
Collectively, we gave it an 8.3 out of 10. It stayed at 11.
Huh.
I love Monsters University. It's one of the more hated on Pixar movies. I feel like a lot of people just don't really enjoy it that much, but I don't really understand why, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. I feel like I remembered it pretty well last time, but I don't think it got worse. I just think I found more movies that I
Yeah,
liked more.
no, it's literally the same movie I remember it being.
Yeah,
The scare games are great.
yeah.
Sully's pretty annoying, like, but that's how he's supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's supposed to be a jock. Mike's great.
Yeah.
Randall's like swerve to being bad was like very out of
Yeah.
nowhere. I get he's trying to be popular the entire movie, but it was just like, why is he such a dick all of a sudden?
Mm-hmm.
And that makes sense why he hates Sully so much because Sully outclassed him in the scare part at the end.
Yeah.
The like CEO of the college, pretty good villain.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think overall, I think the main message that I never understood as a kid, but now I understand is like you don't have to go to college to succeed.
Yeah.
Like they just went up the ranks of their company. Now Sully's like the best scarer in the company. So
Yeah, and Mike was like the best door man.
like they started as mailmen and then they went to door building and all this different things.
Yeah.
And that's like you also don't have to be a big part, like a big like frat or sorority to enjoy college.
Mm-hmm.
Like just make friends. It'll be a good
Yeah.
time. Like
And you saw, I mean, the Roar Omega Roar guys were all just like kind of jerks the
yeah.
whole time and the whole party thing, and then Uzma Kappa, like they were all like nice, innocent, especially Squishy.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I mean, it's a nice movie. I think it's a solid prequel.
Yeah. Not really have much else to say about it,
Yeah,
honestly. A lot of people don't like it though, and I don't see why. I I don't know. I think it's like unless you consider Lightyear being a prequel, I think it's the first prequel in Pixar, and I think it did pretty good. So
yeah. I mean, I'm a big fan of like teams and competing, so it's like the scare games. Like I ate that up. So
yeah,
and then I think I mentioned this in the last one, but they like, in my opinion, they revealed like the true scariest monster, which is the librarian.
yeah,
Like I don't think anyone could beat her.
no, yeah, no, that's pretty. I think she just doesn't fit into the closet. That's
Yeah,
probably the
that's
only
true.
reason why she's not a scary person.
Yeah,
She has to be in big buildings at all times.
yeah.
All right, cracking our top 10 at number 10 with a 10.5 average, we have Ratatouille. I put Ratatouille at my number 9 and gave it an 8.9 out of 10. It dropped 5 spots on my list though.
I put Ratatouille at 12. I got an 8 out of 10. I put it in the same exact spot.
Collectively, we gave Ratatouille an 8.45 out of 10 and it dropped 2 spots on our list. Ratatouille's Ratatouille. I don't
Yeah.
know. It's one of the more grown up Pixar movies in my
Yeah.
opinion. It's got like some more I don't know. Like it just seems more adulty. Like an adult cartoon. Not like
Yeah.
it's not raunchy or anything. It's just like got more grown up ideas in it. Um and obviously a rat controlling a person to cook is very interesting.
Yeah.
Um Remy's a good character. I enjoy Remy. His family's kind of awful to him. Like
Hmm.
just picking off of him for food was really frustrating, honestly. Linguini, super awkward character, but that's a part of him. Bags of Batty.
It's
Um,
like Claudette or something.
yeah. I don't know.
Um, yeah, I mean, Remy having like the imaginary Gusteau was like kind of funny as
Yeah, no, I like
like
Gusto.
an imaginary mentor.
And obviously, like the chef, not like always seeing the rat, but everyone else didn't see it. And
Yeah.
just like bugging over it the entire movie till the reveal, pretty much. Uh, the critic part was really interesting to me. Because obviously he brought Gusto down to like a 4 star, 3 star
Yeah.
before.
Ruined his reputation.
Found out a rat cooked his food. Said that a rat cooked his food. Everyone didn't believe him. And then he
Yeah.
got fired from his job,
Yeah.
which is just like so weird, honestly. But like, I don't know. I think he's a pretty likable character at the end of the
I
day.
really, yeah, I really liked Ego. I know that's his last name. I don't remember his first name. Um, but yeah, the fact that he kept like going to their restaurant even after Gusteau's closed down, like it's like, oh, and then he was actually like talking to people and
Yeah,
actually like enjoying life.
I think I don't know. I think it made him a happier character, obviously. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, like the bonkers grandma, like
Yeah, that
taking
was
the,
weird.
yeah,
Just absolutely unloading on him. Like,
yeah,
okay. I that was probably my least favorite part was the
yeah,
beginning. It was kind of weird. Like, I get it that sets up the plot of him getting swept away from his family and then having to join Linguini and
yeah,
stuff, but I don't know. I didn't really enjoy that part of the movie. It was kind of weird.
yeah,
Kind of didn't like how fast he found his brother again, Emil, just like in a garbage can. Like
yeah,
it just happened like out of nowhere. Like it wasn't that far after it happened. I feel like it was like 40 minutes after it happened. It was like hitting the second half of the movie. I feel like he found
yeah.
him again, which is kind of weird, honestly.
I think it was like a second day in like Ratatouille time, and then they're like, oh, well,
Oh, hey, Emil. I thought
yeah,
you died. Oh,
nope,
okay. No, I
no,
didn't.
I'm in this
Oh,
kitchen.
you want to get me food? I guess.
Yeah.
I also despise that big rat. Like the big guy
Oh
that always
yeah.
came with a meal. He's just like God.
Yeah.
Um, it's just an enjoyable movie. Um, it's a classic Pixar movie to
Yeah.
me. So
I really want to make that food that they serve at the end.
Ratatouille.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Not a
feel
huge
like
tomato fan, so
feel like it can't be that hard. You just
probably not.
slice a bunch of stuff and then
As a kid, I thought it was pepperoni and cheese. It's not.
you're like, oh
That
dude.
sounds so good.
Yeah.
It's just not. It's just vegetables.
Yeah, it's like
Ruined it.
zucchini, tomato, eggplant. Yeah.
So at number 9, this is where our ranking took a huge jump. Because collectively we gave Ratatouille an 8.45 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
At number 9, with an average of 7, we have Wally. I have Wally at 13. I gave it an 8.5 out of 10. It did not go up my list. It stayed at 13.
I was afraid of
I
this
know you
one.
were.
Wally is my number one. I put it at 9.8 and it jumped 8 spots.
Collectively, we gave Wally a 9.15 out of 10. It jumped 3 spots on our list. So why is Wally number 1 for you?
I realized this talking about it in the last one, how much I just kept going into like the deep message of the movie about how like reality, like that's what reality could become, especially with AI like rising in in the real world. Truly like ahead of its time. Um it's just like the phenomenal the message of the movie. It's like, wow, and they could rise against us and we wouldn't be able to do anything about it because we can barely function for ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like there's like one minor plot hole. It's like, how did Wally start thinking for himself?
Yeah, that's a good point. Didn't really
Yeah.
think about that before.
um which is why it's not a 10 out of 10, but it's just there's so many points in the movie where it's just like, no, with like the relationship between Wally and Eva. It didn't really feel forced at all, which I liked. They didn't like over romanticize it either. Like they had the little spark, but it's not like I'm watching people make out. It's like I don't care, but it's like, oh, and how much they like cared for each other. I
Mhm.
don't know. It was. It was a really cute movie. It was.
Okay, so here's my side of why it stayed at 13 for me. It's just so hard to rank this higher than the movies ahead of it, in my opinion. I can understand why people have it very high. I can appreciate the movie. I know Forrest's two favorite Pixar movies are Wall-E and Finding Nemo, and I can see why Wall-E way more than Nemo at this very point in my head. My biggest issue with this movie, and that's just me, it's a me problem. It's not like I have a real reason to be upset about it. It's just the first 30 minutes of this movie drags so much for me. And it's because it's a silent film. There's no talking. It's
Yeah.
Wally making noises. He finds a cricket.
Yeah.
Eva lands. Eva finds plant. And Eva goes away. It's when they go through space where this movie really picked up for me. I enjoy the plane. I enjoy like the captain, the person that like drives a boat, realizing like how amazing Earth could be
Yeah.
because obviously he was born on the plane. A weird thing I noticed was there were real people, like the president was a real person talking to them, which I found really interesting. That was like the first real human in Pixar. And as time went by, they got more cartoony and then it got to them. So they can't became cartoon characters almost in space. Because the hall of like captains, it's like a real human,
Yeah. Huh.
cartoon.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know if that has a deep meaning or not, but it's very interesting to me. Um, the steering wheel that turned on him,
Yeah.
pretty annoying. I like their little bandit of robots that were like swept away for being like malfunctioning or
Yeah.
whatever. I don't know. I enjoy Wally a lot more than I did coming into the first part. I
Yeah.
thought it was overhyped, but I enjoy Wally. It's just hard to rank it higher than the movies I have ahead of it because I enjoyed them more for the full duration of the movie.
Yeah.
I just didn't like the silent film part of it, which I get that is like a huge like up to Pixar without speaking for like 30 minutes. People are really loving that part, which is like
Yeah.
crazy to think about. It's not one of those people that like that. So
I just
that's all I gotta say about that, in my opinion.
the message just really
Yeah, no, the ending's great.
the just the whole like we would really couldn't do anything about it if
Wally getting fixed by Eva at the end's cute.
yeah.
All of them seeing the planet for the first time because obviously they were all born on that
Yeah.
plane. Like they've been in chairs with like AI in front of them their entire life. This is their first time really walking around, which I get they were like having troubles walking at first, but they started walking really quickly, which kind of thought was interesting, I guess.
Yeah.
I liked Ham and that girl's relationship where they
Oh
bumped into each other and
yeah.
like saw it, like because they had the screens in front of their face. They like came up and they're like, oh hi,"
Yeah.
like had human interaction for the first time, which is
Yeah.
kind of cute.
It's
But
like showed how kind of negligent everyone was because they didn't even interact with people. It's like they had the screen in front of them 24/7 and it kind of just took robots to take down the other robots and then
mhm,
Captain did like one thing by holding down the the steering wheel, but it's just like whoa.
mhm. Yeah, yeah, no, I don't know. It's just for me, it's harder to rank it higher than the ones I have ahead of it. So that's the only reason why it's lower.
Yeah.
All right, we got our second three-way tie for sixth place. So first, with an average of 6 points, we got Inside Out. I have Inside Out at 8. Give it a 9 out of 10. It jumped one spot on my list.
I've got Inside Out at 4 with a 9.4 out of 10, and it jumped 3 spots in my list.
I, well, between us, We gave it a 9.2 out of 10. It dropped one spot on our list. Weirdly enough.
Yeah.
Should I get the elephant out of the room?
Yeah.
I hate sadness. I get the
Um,
character. I get it. I do. I'm not just trying to be naive. I just hate sadness so much. Everything sadness did, I like would look at Caleb and go, fucking hate sadness. Like I just hate sadness. Like God. And I get core memories don't all have to be happy. They figure that out. Because
yeah.
she was running off like 5 core memories, and then by the end she had like 14 islands, and they all had different emotions to it. And I get it, but like, this is so annoying. And
Yeah.
the part, my biggest, and I get it, it's just me being me, but the part where she starts crying in the classroom, like standing up,
Yeah.
where Riley is like, I'm from Minnesota and now I moved here, and then she started crying, like that gave me like the cringe factor that I
Oh
was
yeah.
talking about earlier, where it was like, this is so uncomfy. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
I think moments like that make you feel that way are like so good though. That's why it's like because it's making you feel like oh, it's like hard to experience that
yeah,
feeling when you're not in that situation yourself.
yeah. I mean, I think I like that kind of cringe more than like flick
Oh.
part or like the
Yeah.
other ones that I've been talking about. Um, but yeah, no, this is a masterpiece.
Yeah.
Pixar really outdid themselves with this movie.
Bing
It's
bong.
like really hits like every age group. It
Mm-hmm.
makes you think. Like we talked about last episode, it brought up core memories. I think
Yeah.
everyone uses that phrase now.
Yeah.
It's just so good. Like I'm really curious to see what they do with Inside Out 2. If it's a
Mm-hmm.
new family or if we continue with Riley. If we continue with Riley, it'd be very weird
It
because
would
it'd
be
be
kind
like
of
more of an
weird.
adult Pixar movie, which makes me think it's gonna be a different family. Because Riley's obviously they teased puberty at the end, like the puberty button.
Yeah.
So I don't really know where you go from there without it being more of a PG-13 kind of movie. So
Yeah, I mean, I realized I started to say something and then took a drink of water.
yeah,
I was like, this is stupid. Like,
that's
yeah,
such
I
an
mean,
edge.
then let's not say anything for a second. Um, no, I think we mostly talked about everything in the last time we talked about this. Just how like relatable it was for all audiences and thinking about how like emotions can control your brain and just there's a little just like little me's up there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Bing Bong, top 5 anime deaths. I
Yeah.
mean, everyone uses that sound on TikTok where it's like, go bring Riley to the moon for me or whatever. It's like
Yeah.
that's sad. Like
Yeah.
catch me in the theater crying if I went to the theater to watch it. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, no, it's very emotional movie. I think my besides sadness being an absolute bitch for the entire movie, um, one flaw I had, the waking up Riley thing, I felt kind of dragged a
Mm.
little bit. Because they initially wanted to wake her up and then they couldn't, and then they got kicked out, and then they got brought to jail, and then they found a clown. And
Yeah.
I get that led to the clown waking up Riley, but it was just like, yeah, it was just like very long. It was
Yeah.
like a 25-minute part of the movie. I could be wrong, but it just felt very long. That was the one drag of the entire movie in my opinion.
Hmm.
Um the thing where Bing Bong's like, "Oh, we could go this way. It's not dangerous." And they like turn into 2D people. It's kind of funny. I
Yeah.
enjoyed that. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean like the whole like everything is so clever
Yeah.
with like the train of thought being a train.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I mean like yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Like I get it now. It's just there's so many things that they packed into that movie that you don't realize that you do every day, and it's like,
Mhm. Yeah.
so.
The second one tied with sixth with an average of 6. We have Toy Story 1. I put Toy Story 1 at 6, gave it a 9.3 out of 10. It rose 2 spots in my ranking. It was at 8, now it's at 6.
I have Toy Story 1 at 6. Gave it a 9.1 and it went down 3 spots.
I just realized I made yours a 9.1. I didn't even put it out of 10 for whatever reason. Do you see that?
Oh yeah. Huh.
I don't know why I did that. That was probably by accident.
Yeah.
Yeah, I noticed we both had it at 6. It's just such a classic movie.
Yeah.
We gave it a collective 9.2 out of 10. I think you could probably rate it higher if you really wanted to. It dropped 2 spots on our list. In the technical ranking, it's 7th, but it's tied at 6. It's just such a classic movie.
Mm-hmm.
Pixar really set the bar high with their first movie. It was the
Yeah.
first ever CGI movie of all time, too.
Oh wow.
And that's why the humans probably looked so goofy.
Yeah, I mean they do. They look funny.
Bo Peep's glow up from the first to the fourth movie is so
Yeah.
funny to look at.
Yeah.
I mean, they did great on like the normal characters. I just like, and like Andy looked fine, but like some of like the NPC like kids that were at like the arcade and stuff looked really weird to me.
Yeah.
Which I get. It's a movie from 1996, so like it's gonna be weird.
Yeah. I mean, let's see. The one gripe, Andy annoyed me so much. I mean, it's a classic like kid and he was just angry or depressed the whole time. He was so energetic and that's what kind of put it down for me.
Mhm.
Because every time he showed up, it was like, this kid again.
I have a very hot take. I'm just not huge on Sid. I think he could be better. Like I get he's just a kid
Yeah.
that just wants to destroy toys. And
Yeah.
I think the most menacing part was when he took them out of the claw machine. He was like, "Oh, I scored 5 toys," and
Yeah.
then, started showing what he did to them. I just I don't know. He didn't do much for me. I think he's probably still a top 10 villain in Pixar. I
Yeah.
mean, maybe we'd have to look at that. Maybe we can do a top 10 Pixar villains list. I don't know. I'm glad they introduced him early. I like everyone. It felt big because everyone was like, "Oh, you don't want to land over there." Like even before you really knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
Also, Mr. Potato Head, the biggest hater of all time. Anything
Yeah.
Woody did, he's just like, "Get him out of here!" Like,
Yeah.
just oh yeah, no. And then Buzz being like thinking he's a toy the entire movie was really funny to me.
Yeah.
And then he like saw the commercial and got big pressed because he realized he was a toy.
Yeah. No, I mean, all the characters have their own like dramatic needs.
Mhm.
Like, I don't want to go over every single one,
Yeah.
but like Woody's dramatic need is being played with from Andy. I mean, everyone needs it, but Woody is like, that's my kid.
Yeah.
That's what I want to do. And Buzz's was being played with, but then he was like, wait a minute, I'm not
Yeah.
Buzz.
Well, he was like, "I want to remake my spaceship," which was just his box.
Yeah.
Like the box he came in. I think it set up. We'll get into it, but it set up Toy Story 2 really well.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, and then like Rex being really insecure, and every character's got their own
yeah,
little.
no, it's all great. They
Yeah.
all have their little arcs, and they're all good. And
Yeah.
Slinky's such a reliable
Yeah.
friend for Woody and Bo Peep. Yeah, no, it was all good.
And then Sid's toys being like normal toys.
Yeah, they're
It's-
just rearranged a
Yeah.
little bit. Yeah.
So, and then Woody judging them like, oh God, these guys are weird. They're just normal toys, just
Yeah.
trying to put themselves back together.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, no, Toy Story 1's great.
yeah.
Catch of the century. Um, okay, just want to make sure. I have PTSD of your mic unplugging the first episode. All right, this is a big boy. In our last sixth place with 6 points or six average, our former number one, we have Monsters Inc.
Hmm.
Monsters Inc. got fourth on my list. It was a 9.5 out of 10. It dropped 2 spots from my initial list.
Monsters Inc. is not third, eighth on my list at an 8.9, and it dropped 3 spots.
Collectively, we gave Monsters Inc. a 9.2 out of 10. It dropped 5 spots on my list because it was number one, or part one.
Yeah.
That was sixth. I mean, I just think
Classic.
we found better. Like, I wouldn't say Monsters Inc. got worse. I
No.
just think we found better movies.
Yeah.
Like, we enjoyed other movies better. Monsters Inc. is, like you said, a classic movie. Randall's a great villain.
Yeah.
And then obviously like the CEO of the Monsters Inc. or whatever, the building being bad with Randall, crazy.
Yeah. Huge plot twist there.
Boo is great.
Boo is great.
And I think it had the funniest scene in all of Pixar.
It was so funny that we like stopped it and went back like 2
Rewind.
separate times just to watch it happen again.
There's some really funny moments in this movie, just like giggle moments. And Mike backing up to get away from Boo, tripping, rolling, falling into the garbage can, and then eating books. It's just like the funniest thing to us. And we, like you said, we replayed it like 3 times.
Yeah.
This is so funny to me.
It was like the first thing that had happened in the movies that like made both of us just burst out laughing.
It's only the bear! The bear! Give it
Because he like trips and you're like, oh, that sucks. And then he like falls into the trash can and you're like, this is even worse. And then knocks the shelf over and then the books fall in his mouth. It's like, oh my god.
I'll try and play the clip real quick. Hopefully I don't get copyright for it, but I'll play it if I remember it. I'm gonna write this down real quick.
Okay.
29.
But yeah, it was just like,
Okay, so this is a good point to bring up. I wrote down like funny moments I wanted to talk about, and this my other funny moment that I wrote down, since we already talked about the movie and I forgot to bring it up, was Incredibles 2 when they were at the dinner and Violet splashed water out of her nose.
Yeah,
And Mr. Incredible looks at the waiter and goes, "She's usually not this wet." Like, what?
yeah, that was another moment we went.
We were like,
what did he say?
what? Did I hear that right? And
Yeah.
we replayed it. Yeah. Anyways, back to Monsters Inc. It was a great movie. It's sad when Boo has to leave.
Yeah.
There's a lot of weird conspiracy theories that Boo is actually in Turning Red, the shorter one with overalls, because it's the same flowers that were on her door,
Oh,
on
interesting.
her overalls. But
Got me big thinking
Yeah.
about that. Oh man.
because there's a lot of characters in Pixar that are in other things, obviously. And I think this is the first movie where it kind of like showed that, because in Boo's room there was the iconic ball, there was
Yeah.
a Jessie, there was a Nemo. Even before Nemo came out, there was a Nemo toy in her room, which is weird
Yeah.
to think about now.
Huh.
But yeah, no, I really liked the movie. I think the whole scene where they initially took her back to the apartment and was like hiding. I think that whole scene was just so funny. Like,
Yeah.
everything that happened was funny. Like, it was sweet seeing them like take care of Boo, and obviously they grew a connection to Boo through that scene, and Sully didn't want to put her back, and you know.
Yeah, it was the whole thing, like seeing the monster society being so close to like our reality, but they're all just monsters.
Mm-hmm.
And then they make accommodations for each monster. and obviously we know we're not toxic.
Yeah.
But them being scared of us is like a whole new like. This is kind of funny.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. The guy
Yeah.
that kept getting like random toys on him and then had to get shaved was really funny.
Yeah.
And then the last time his like partner was gonna like do it again and then he shoved it down his throat and it was like, this guy's got it. And that was
Yeah.
funny. I don't know. I think Mike Wazowski's a top Pixar character. I think one of their next videos can be like top 10 characters and top 10 villains or something like that from
Yeah.
Pixar. Now that we're done with our watching. Speaking of watching, we have Marvel movies to watch now.
Yeah.
Our next ranking is going to be our part 2 of the Marvel ranking. So I don't know if we'll have Forrest and Tony. We'll probably do Forrest again just because he was on that episode. I don't know if we'll have Tony in our ranking for our next one. Maybe we'll see.
Yeah.
Depends. But yeah.
But yeah.
Anyways.
No, Monsters Inc. is just it's a classic.
Yeah.
Never go wrong with Monsters Inc. And there's like one other thing I wanted to say, but I can't remember what it was. So
What was it about? You remember at all?
something about the city. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I'll say it if I think about it later, but
Okay. At number 5, with an average of 5.5, we have The Incredibles. I put The Incredibles at 2 on my list. Gave it a 9.8 out of 10, and it rose 1 spot on my list.
I have Incredibles at 9 with an 8.3 out of 10, and it dropped 3 spots on my list.
And this was the first big flaw of our 10 out of 10 system. We collectively gave Incredibles a 9.05 out of 10, which is less than WALL-E, but it's higher than WALL-E by 4 spots. So, WALL-E, Inside Out, Toy Story, and Monsters Inc. are all rated higher on our scale, but we ranked The Incredibles higher than them.
Weird.
Yeah, very weird. I did the calculation last night and I was like, that doesn't add up.
Yeah.
But I love The Incredibles. It's such a good origin story.
Yeah.
Like just everything about it's so good. Syndrome's great. Hot take. I don't know if I completely agree with this. I have to think about it, but I almost think Screenslaver was a better villain than Syndrome.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Just because Syndrome didn't do much. He just has all this tech. Yeah. Syndrome's great though. He's still good. His arc is good. He wanted to be Mr. Incredible, and then Mr. Incredible's like, nah. And then he's like, okay, I'm gonna take out the supers now, pretty much. I don't know. It's just such a great origin superhero movie. Like, I just love everything about the movie. I love superhero movies in general, so that helps a lot. Just the family helping, like, working with each other on the island. And it was great. Dash running out of water was such a pop-off scene, honestly. It was like, that's so sick. Violet learning how to use her, like, powers more. Like, Mr. Incredible thinking they died, like, because they shot at him, and then, like, him getting really angry, like, showing a darker side of him was really interesting. And then Syndrome's whole plan of like saving the city didn't work, and then he got clapped by his own robot. Yeah. And it was like, oh, here we go. And now the Incredibles gotta save the city, and it was just... and then he got killed pretty bad at the end of the movie. He got put into a plane like turbine. And I like at first I was like, because at the end he obviously came back and captured Jack. Like towards the end, I'm like, does the movie really have to keep going? Yeah. And then Jack had his powers, and I was like, oh shoot. Like, that made like that part more interesting, and then obviously that's what killed him. Jack turning on fire. And then I can't remember, I think it was Edna, and it was like, I don't know if it was Edna, it was someone was like, no superhero should wear capes because they all get sucked up. And then that's came back at the end because he had a cape and then he got sucked up into the plane. So I don't know. I think it's just a great movie overall. Like, obviously, I like it way more than you did,
Yeah,
but
that's why I'm letting you just
yeah,
go off about it. No, I mean, yeah, I agree. It's a great movie. Everyone has, all the characters are great, and the fact that, like, oh, and the, where's my super
yeah,
suit?
that's so iconic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
Frozen's great too.
yeah. He's so powerful, like,
Yeah,
in general.
yeah,
Um, and, like, the heist. That was kind of awesome. Mr. Incredible and Frozone. Um, but yeah, seeing them all fight as a team, it's like, oh, it's like this is awesome.
yeah.
Oh,
Like the Incredibles need help, and then Frozone shot in with his ice, and it's like,
yeah,
oh, this is sick. Like,
yeah.
yeah,
Um, but no, I think you kind of nailed it.
yeah. I'm very, very high on the Incredibles. I always will be. It's just like one of those like, yeah, Pixar killed that. You know what I mean?
So that's your second. I'm really curious about what your first is gonna be.
All right, we got our last tie, and they're tied for third. At third, the first third, with an average of 5, we have Coco. I have Coco at seventh with a 9.1 out of 10. It rose 8 spots on my list.
I have Coco at third, and it dropped one spot on my list at a 9.6 out of 10.
We collectively graded this a 9.35 out of 10. It rose 5 spots on our list. It's just so good.
It's such a good movie. After we saw it, I moved so many things around.
Yeah, I had to as well. Like I
Yeah.
knew I'd like it more than the first time because I with our first ranking, I think I ranked it like 15. And I
Mhm.
was like, I like Coco. I don't remember much of it, but I
Yeah.
like Coco. Like I know I like Coco. I just need to rewatch it.
Yeah.
And just everything about it was so good the
It's
second
just,
time
oh
around.
my God.
I
Everything in that movie.
think if I watch more, like if we had to make adjustments in like a year or two, I think it'd probably go higher maybe if I watch it
Yeah.
again. It's just so good. The songs in it are all good.
Mm-hmm.
The twist was great. I
Yeah.
know you said it was kind of predictable, but I didn't really see it coming, honestly, because I just didn't remember the movie.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, this is sick. Like, Ernesto's the bad guy, and the guy that's been
Yeah.
following around, forgot his name, the main character's name.
Coco. No.
I also didn't
uh,
know why the movie was called Coco going into this movie,
oh.
so that made it better.
Miguel.
Yeah, Miguel.
Miguel.
Um, getting
Miguel.
followed by his actual grandpa or like great 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 grandpa or whatever it is.
Yeah.
The arc of him getting like forgotten's really cool. Him being the songwriter's even cooler.
Yeah, him being like the one that was under it all the whole time. Like,
Like Ernesto de la Cruz is like, ah, I hate that guy. Like
yeah.
you like go into it, he finally like Miguel finally gets to Ernesto, and you're like, oh, this is sick. Like he gets to meet his grandpa, gets to sing with him, then go back, and then you
Yeah.
go, oh, that's not his grandpa.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. And then the like part where Miguel is singing to Coco is really sweet. Him
Mm-hmm.
and then like suddenly Coco like starts talking for the first time in the movie.
Yeah.
Like the actual grandma, like the one that hates music, was like really frustrating at the beginning. It's just like
Yeah.
I get it, but like holy crap, like
Yeah.
jeez Louise, like you're really hateful. Um, yeah,
Yeah, there are just so many moments in this movie where it's like, oh, like it was so good. And there's one big thing that I was gonna say. Oh yeah, the one plot hole I found. Um, so when they go down where the world is, where all the skeletons are, they're like falling apart all the time, and like they're not feeling any pain, right?
mm,
Um, while Ernesto is singing at the end, Um,
Oh, I know what you're about to say. When he
sh-
steps on his
yeah,
foot. Yeah,
she
that's
stomps on
weird.
his foot, and he's like, "Oh,
And they start singing. Yeah, no, I get that. That's very
what's
odd now
going
that you
on
bring it
there?"
up. I didn't really think about it that way, but
Yeah,
yeah, no, that's pretty
that's
weird.
one big thing that happened where I was like, "This is a little confusing."
Yeah.
Um, but besides all the pros, it's like I'm just kind of fascinated with Day of the Dead in general. I took French in high school, so it's like I didn't really learn much about it. I like the whole like honoring your family tree thing and remembering them so they won't be forgotten so then they can come back to the world and enjoy life for a day.
Yeah, we talked about it a lot in Spanish in like middle school. Wasn't
Mhm.
much in high school that we
Okay.
talked about it, but I mean, we did like small projects for it. It was
Yeah.
cool. I remember even before middle school, me and John did a presentation about it. I don't know if John will remember that or not, but it was very odd.
Yeah. No, it's just it's always fascinated me and that and like the whole like the vibe of it, like all the skeletons and the color palettes just so
Yeah, no,
cool.
it's great. I don't know if this is a hot take. It's a very small hot take, but my favorite song in the movie is the one that Miguel made at the end. Like when he's singing to his family at the very end. That's my favorite of the
Oh,
movie.
okay.
I just really enjoy that song.
You mean it's not un poco loco?
I think another reason why I had it so low is because of that song on TikTok. It ruined it for me. It was just like so annoying because it
Yeah.
only played that part. It's like un poco loco. That's the only part it played. It didn't play the whole song,
Yeah.
which the song's good. It's just like, yeah, I got annoyed hearing that part too often. But
Yeah, then they get the duet and he gets in there and he's like, "Ah,
yeah, no,
it's
it's
just
great.
yeah, I could talk about it longer, but
We're almost on an hour
yeah.
again. Sorry, this is gonna be a long video, but it's a big
It's worth it.
video for us.
Yeah.
We put a lot of time and effort into this video.
Whole 26 movies worth.
Yeah. And now we're about to do 32 movies for
Yep.
Marvel. Yeah, it's going to be pretty sick. I was very excited to see this movie rise. Um Also tied at third with an average of 5, we got Toy Story 2.
I knew it was.
I love Toy Story 2. Toy Story 2 is my third place. It got a 9.7 out of 10. It rose 3 spots on my list.
Toy Story 2 is my seventh with a 9 out of 10, and it rose 10 spots.
Yeah,
Oh.
collectively we gave it a 9.35 out of 10. It rose 11 spots on our list. Thank God you finally got that ranking right. That hurts so much. I love Toy Story 2 so much. It's such a good movie. It was just hard putting it above the other two I have above it. Obviously because it's third. Um, the like the scalper being the villain was really interesting to me.
Yeah.
And he wasn't really a villain. He was
No.
just trying to do stuff for himself.
But he stole
He
Woody.
stole Woody.
So,
And introduces Jesse and Bullseye. Great characters.
yeah.
Bullseye's such a cutie pie. Like the Stinky Pete being the real twist villain was really interesting too. It's like, oh, we're all going. I never got open because no one liked playing with me, so we're all going to China together. Like, God.
Yeah.
Um, the Buzz fight scene was funny,
Yeah, Buzz on Buzz.
and then Buzz against Zurg, and Zurg going, "You are like I am your father."
Yeah.
No, it was so good. Like the beginning, like scene, because Toy Story usually begins with like a little fun scene between the toys that Andy's having.
Yeah.
All the noises were just Star Wars noises,
Yeah.
which is really funny to me. Um, and then just like them going to save Woody, and then there's two Buzzes, and then all of them. The toy store is really fun, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like Buzz getting locked up into a different box and having to find his way out of that. Jesse's backstory is so sad.
Yeah.
There's actually a theory I don't know how true it is because it's just a theory. It's a game theory, no. Um, but Andy's mom might have been the owner of Jessie that abandoned her. That could have been the the arc there. That's a
Interesting.
very interesting theory because they never gave a time frame of when it happened. Um, but
It's like
that,
I don't. Hmm. Yeah, I don't know.
I haven't looked much into it. I've just heard it, but it's very interesting. I want to hear what you think of Toy Story 2
Um.
because obviously you don't think it's about a daycare anymore. And
Yeah, I don't think
well,
it's Toy Story 3 anymore. No, I mean it was great. All of the characters they introduced were great, and we collect toys, and the whole like inbox Stinky Pete thing was really funny to me. It was just like he's still in the box,
he's
and it's like,
mint.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's like I'm not an inbox guy because I like to pose them and like just like to touch them,
yeah.
but it's like, but I get it. It's like keeping it in box. You're not gonna play with it, but you've got this like sick toy that came out. It's like he's stuck in the box. It just ah, and then the whole like Woody's Roundup thing.
Yeah, Roundup's great.
Yeah.
One of my another favorite part I forgot to say was when Woody got fixed by like the toy
Oh
fixer.
yeah.
That scene is just so satisfying,
By the chess
honestly.
guy.
Yeah. Yeah, I know you like the chess guy, so
I
it made it
do.
better for you.
Yeah, he just plays chess against himself. Except like the difference is he like puts on glasses, takes them off,
Yeah.
walks around the table, sits down. Hmm. Yeah. So that was that little Easter egg. Um, but like I don't know, being a toy collector kind of made it better for me to be honest.
Mhm.
Like that I probably would have ranked it in the same spot even if we didn't collect toys. But yeah, the journey was creative. It wasn't too far.
Mhm.
It's just across town, but it was like, how do I get there?
Yeah.
But
Um, the cone scene was funny when they run
yeah,
across the street.
yeah,
Also, Bullseye popping off, catching up to the plane.
yeah,
Mega pop off moment for Bullseye there. That was just so good.
yeah.
I also just love Jesse too. Jesse's a great character in my
Oh yeah,
opinion.
easily.
So, yeah. All right, we're in the nitty gritty of it all, baby. Number
I'm.
two. There's two left.
It's between Soul and Toy Story 3.
Number two, with an average of 3.5, we got Soul. I gave Soul, and if Soul's fifth on my list, it's a 9.4 out of 10. It stayed at fifth for me.
Soul is second on my list with a 9.7 out of 10, and it went up 2 spots.
Collectively, we gave this a 9.55 out of 10. It rose 2 spots on our list from 5 to, or, I mean, 4 to 2. Yeah.
Absolute banger movie.
Yeah, Pixar really outdid itself with this one.
I think it's so slept on.
It revived Pixar in my eyes. Like, they obviously have made like 3 movies since. And they're all
Hmm.
solid. But like there's a part where you're like there's a part of your life where you're like, oh, I mean, I'm in high school. I shouldn't be watching these movies that much anymore.
Yeah.
And like that was kind of the time between like Toy Story 3 and Soul for me. Like in between is like I mean I went and saw Incredibles 2 in the theater. I saw a couple other things.
But yeah, like
But Soul,
Dory came out in that time too. It's like,
yeah. But like Soul, man, if that came out in theater, I think it'd be even more popular.
yeah,
Its biggest issue is it came out when COVID happened, so it was a Disney Plus exclusive movie.
yeah,
So it kind of like, unless you have Disney Plus already, you're not gonna go out of your way to buy Disney Plus and watch it just for it, unless you're like huge jazz fan. But like, I had Disney Plus. I was like, oh, this movie looks pretty cool. I'll watch it. And it
hmm,
was just like everything about it's so good.
yeah. I just resonated me because I've played in a jazz band for so many years. I want to say like 6 years. I've been in a couple different jazz bands. It's like, so I get when they were performing and like I really felt it. I was like I was nervous for him, and I get the groove. He was just in it, just playing. Um, and like I really like the message of the movie too. Like live your life to the fullest, because you never know when you're gonna fall down a manhole.
Yeah. Yeah. I just I think that proves how good this movie is though, because you're a jazz player, you like jazz. I don't play instruments,
Yeah.
but I love this movie.
Yeah.
And it's just like the scene where he's in his like own little world playing piano is great. Like
Mhm.
popping off in front of Dorothea Williams, like the
Yeah.
main quartet person. Um the soul world is fun. 22. Obviously very annoying character, but I get it. Like
Yeah.
I'm not annoyed about 22. I think they did 22 really good, and I wasn't annoyed about it, which is great because characters like Sadness and Dory that are supposed to be annoying, I hate them.
Yeah.
So, like, that's how, like, I can prove that, like, the writing was really good on this movie. And something I want to bring up, um, and I think Andrew on the Escape Pod said this when they were talking about this movie. They're not as high on it as us, but they're like the scene where he's playing piano and he's not reading a sheet. He's just looking at things that 22 put in his
Yeah.
pocket. That's a Pixar moment right there. Like
Yeah.
it's just like giving me chills thinking about it. It's like, oh god, it's so good.
Yeah. And like as someone who's in the music industry, the fact that like Curly called him and he was like, "Hey, you want to come play with Dorothea Williams, like this massive jazz person?" Um, that's like really how it is. It's the connections you have. Like you can be good, but you have to be good enough for people to remember you and like recognize your talent.
Mhm.
And that was just a music person moment right there. And the fact that 22 got in his body and then people started liking him more and he was seeing it from the cat's perspective and like the
I
barber.
was gonna say the barbershop scene's great.
Yeah.
Like everything about it's so good.
Yeah. He recognized like people liked him more when 22 was in his body. It's cuz she is very like not self-centered and outgoing.
I was gonna say, because he's obviously more of like an uptight. He only
Yeah.
talks about jazz. He's very
Mhm.
one-dimensional as a person
Yeah.
because he only works towards one thing. And like 22, obviously, first day on Earth,
Yeah.
walking in a human's body, like just doing whatever, and
Mhm.
it won everyone in the barbershop over besides the like one guy that was hating on him from the first
Oh,
part.
yeah.
But
But
yeah.
it's just like made him realize that he's gotta like not just talk about himself.
Yeah.
And it's like, whoa.
It was like, Joe, it was like, it's really interesting hearing about your story. And then he was like, yeah, you never asked before. And he was like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
Kind of a dick. But
Yeah, exactly.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, Soul's great.
Yeah.
I don't expect it to be this high on anyone else's list. But, and then number one, with an average of 3, we got Toy Story 3. Funny enough. That's my number one movie.
Oh, okay.
Toy Story 3 got a 9.9 out of 10. It was also number one on my first list.
Toy Story 3 is fifth with a 9.2 and it rose 3 spots.
I think this shows how close number one and number two was. Collectively, we gave it a 9.55 out of 10, which is the same as Soul. It just was how we ranked it, was just put it above it by 0.5 points.
Hmm.
and it rose 2 spots from our first list.
I hate Lotso.
I'll let you talk first, obviously, because this
Uh,
is my favorite movie.
I hate Lotso so much, and I still hate him. I like when I watched it as a kid, I was like, I hate this bear. And when I watched it a couple nights ago, I still hate this bear so much. And a character that can make me feel that way, good character. Extremely good character. The journey, the whole like excuse me, elementary school thing, it's like it's a new concept. It's like, oh my god, I mean, we know kids destroy toys, but we've never seen it from the toys' point of view.
Yeah.
Like this sucks.
Yeah.
And like all the characters they introduced, it's like Ken. Yeah, okay. I'll let you go off.
Toy Story 3 is such a classic movie to me. It embodies Pixar. Like, I think everything about this movie shows how good Pixar is, and it's like Toy Story is obviously Pixar's baby. It's the best.
Yeah.
It's a top 5 trilogy of all time.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I could even put a top 3. I'd have to think about it, obviously, but it's just so good. All the characters are great in this movie. I love Ken. I've mentioned that so many times. Ken's so good. You know who Ken is played by?
Who?
He's also Chick Hicks.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Forgetting his name, and it's really annoying, but he plays Vulture in Spider-Man.
Oh, yeah.
I'll put his name on there. I can't remember his name. He's a Michael Keaton. He's also Batman.
He's also Batman.
Huge actor. But I love Ken. Lotso, despicable.
Absolutely despicable.
Absolute scallywag of a character.
Oh.
I hate that guy. And he just doesn't learn either.
Yeah.
He's just such a dick the entire time. When they were about to get crushed, Woody forgives him, helps him out, and he goes, "See ya!" Like, God.
Yeah.
And there's so many elements to this movie. Like, there's the daycare. It's a daycare, like getting out, trying to escape. Classic Toy Story escape plan. Like,
Yeah.
taking out the monkey that looks at everything.
Yeah.
There's Spanish mode Buzz, which is hilarious. And just him being a simp for Jesse's funny as hell. Like, it's the entire movie.
Yeah.
Miss Potato Head's eye in Andy's room, that was goofy. And all them thinking Andy was trying to throw him out, but it was really just in the attic, and no one would listen to Woody. It's just like, why does no one ever trust Woody ever?
Yeah.
It's every movie, Woody's done something and everyone's like, nah, Woody, you're wrong. And he's always right. He's always doing something right. And obviously Andy giving away his toys to Bonnie,
Yeah.
top 5 emotional scene. Andy playing with his toys one last time with Bonnie, and then going, "You can have Woody too. Take care of
Yeah.
Woody." And obviously introducing Bonnie and all those characters in her room was cool. It's just such a good movie. Barbie was good in this movie too, because Barbie was just kind of like a
You're like, oh, it's Barbie.
weird side character in this second movie. Was obviously there's a ton of Barbies in the store that were driving them around, but you never really knew how much Barbie was involved with them until this movie.
Yeah.
And then Molly was like, "Nah, goodbye. I don't really care about you anymore."
Yeah.
And then she stayed with Ken, but Ken obviously made the daycare a better place. And then Lotso got strapped onto a truck, the
Yeah.
front end of a truck, which was deserved.
Yeah.
I mean, his backstory's sad. Him and the baby and that other guy, the clown.
The clown, yeah.
It was very reminiscent of Jesse, but instead of the person growing up, they just got to kid a new Lotso bear. So it was I can understand why he's very bitter about that. But like, I can't remember if Woody offered to bring them to like Andy or Bonnie. I feel like he might have, but like, if he didn't, and he like, or if he did, and then Lotso still was bitter, it's just like, okay, you're
Yeah.
a dick. Like, come on. But
Yeah.
I can't genuinely remember if he did or not. But yeah, Toy Story 3 is just such a classic to me.
We may have to get a
Yeah,
Toy Story 3 poster.
well, for me, you get Wally
That's true.
because that's our number ones.
Yeah.
So pretty soon we'll have a Toy Story 3 and a Wally poster behind us.
We'll figure out a way to get him. I feel like Wally's gonna be hard,
That'll be interesting.
but
We'll find it. We'll find something. Yeah, that is our ranking of I said Toy Story movies, of Pixar movies.
Pixar movies.
Um, this was a big video for us.
Yeah.
This was a huge. I mean, we dedicated like lots of hours for
Yeah.
this.
I mean,
Let me just do something real
I was
quick.
gonna say if you give like 2 hours per
52
movie.
hours, like max, because none of them actually hit 2 hours.
No.
So like around 50 hours of movies the past 15 days.
Yeah.
Doesn't sound like a lot, but it's a lot. It's literally two and some change days of just movies. It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
There were some stretches where it was like, oh, we got the Good Dinosaur and then Onward or whatever.
Yeah, it's like, oh, we got these movies.
Yeah, the Good Dinosaur, Finding Dory, Cars 3. That was a pretty bad loop of movies right there. The beginning, I don't know, the beginning was weird because like obviously the most iconic ones are like at the beginning of Pixar, so it was like just kind of felt like we were watching movies. Nothing, no real purpose. It was like when we started hitting like Cars 2, Brave, Monsters University, it was like, okay, so we're watching all of them. Like
Yeah.
we're committed to this now. Like
Yeah.
it was a very fun process. I enjoyed the time. It's not like I regret doing it.
No.
I really enjoyed it. It was fun ranking them on notes and not showing each other and
Yeah.
then talking about it. So it'll be fun for the Marvel movie list to do it again. Marvel movies are about half an hour, 45 minutes longer than these ones though. So it
Yeah.
might take a bit longer. I mean, we got a lot of time. We weren't really rushing this one. We just were on a roll.
Yeah.
We just have to do the Marvel one before the Marvels comes out, which is November. So we'll finish it this
We
summer.
got time.
We'll probably finish it this summer.
Like tomorrow.
Yeah. But after this, expect normal podcast episodes. We'll do some more top 10s, trivia. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Trying to figure out if I want to put this into one big video or do parts. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll talk about it.
But thank you guys for watching. If you made it this far into the video, we appreciate it. Hope you liked it. It was a lot of fun talking about these movies.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure I said this in part 1, but comment your favorite Pixar movie down below
Do it.
and your least favorite Pixar movie down below. So,
Talk about our takes. If they're bad, they're
Yeah.
good.
yeah, roast us. Roast me about Wall-E. I know you want to, Forrest. And Nemo. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. Thank you guys for watching. I don't know if you have anything to say.
No.
Yeah, we'll see you guys in the next podcast episode.
See ya.